On the afternoon of September 23, 1822, the marble corridors of Topkapi Palace shimmered under the dying light of Istanbul's sun. Sultan Mahmud II, ruler of the Ottoman Empire, walked through his imperial harem, a labyrinth of gold, silk, and secrets. Behind those carved doors lived over 1,200 women, queens, favorites, slaves, and spies, a world within a world, ruled not by swords, but by whispers. But Mahmud was only a shadow in a far older story, a story of kings whose power was measured not just in armies, but in appetite. From the palaces of Cairo to the forbidden cities of China, from Rome's marble halls to Morocco's desert fortresses, there were rulers whose lust became legend, whose thrones trembled beneath the weight of their own desires. These were not men of passion, they were men possessed. Their hunger shaped empires, destroyed dynasties, and rewrote history in silk and blood. This is the untold story of history's most sex-obsessed kings and the scandalous harems that ruled them. To understand the harem, you must forget the fantasy. It wasn't just a playground of pleasure, it was a machine of power. A state within a state, run by women who wielded influence through the only currency they were allowed: proximity to the king. At the top sat the Valide Sultan, the Sultan's mother, often the true power behind the throne. Below her, the favored consorts and concubines, each fighting for survival, status, and sons. And guarding them, the eunuchs, men stripped of manhood to preserve the purity of the forbidden. In those hidden rooms, beauty was politics and affection was strategy. Our first tale begins in Egypt, in the early 20th century. King Farouk I, young, charming, worshipped by his people. When he took the throne in 1936, Egypt hoped for renewal. What it got instead was ruin. Farouk's reign became a blur of nightclubs, champagne, and scandal. He filled Cairo with secret apartments, each a nest for new conquests. Actresses, dancers, even married women, none dared say no to the king. He spent fortunes on gifts and jewels while his people starved. 30% of his royal budget, gone on women. When the soldiers finally rose against him in 1952, Farouk was too busy chasing desire to see the end coming. He fled Egypt in shame, dying in exile, obese, broke, and forgotten. His dynasty, gone, undone not by war, but by lust. Centuries earlier, another monarch let passion twist into madness. Sultan Moulay Ismail of Morocco, the bloodthirsty one. He ruled in the 17th century with an iron fist and a heart of stone. His harem held 500 women, Berbers, Arabs, and slaves from across Africa. He was said to have fathered hundreds of children, maybe more. To him, reproduction was a duty, a symbol of divine power. But his cruelty was as infamous as his appetite. Women who displeased him were strangled before the rest. When he died, his countless sons turned on each other, tearing Morocco into chaos. His empire, built on desire, devoured itself. Then there was Suleiman the Magnificent, the most powerful sultan of them all, a conqueror, a lawgiver, and a man enslaved by love. His heart belonged to Hurrem Sultan, a slave girl from Ukraine who rose to unimaginable power. She didn't just warm the emperor's bed, she ruled his mind. Hurrem manipulated palace politics with brilliance and cruelty, eliminating rivals and shaping empires. She convinced Suleiman to execute his own son, Mustafa, the best heir the empire ever had. The people called her a witch, historians called her a genius. But when she died, Suleiman was never the same. And when her son, Selim II, took the throne, the empire began its long fall from greatness. Love had turned into a slow poison. Across continents and centuries, the pattern repeats. Rulers with absolute power turning their kingdoms into personal fantasies, their harems becoming both their paradise and their prison. For every man who thought he owned the women within, it was often the women who truly owned him. From the Ottoman Valide sultans to Europe's royal mistresses, from Cleopatra to Roxolana, these women shaped the fate of empires from behind closed doors. Historians debate what the harem truly was, a symbol of oppression or a battlefield of hidden power. Some call it a prison, others a political arena. But what's undeniable is that behind every silk curtain, the destinies of nations were being written by those no one saw. As the world modernized, the harems vanished, their walls crumbling under the weight of new ideals. The last Ottoman harem closed in 1922, but the story never really ended. Because even today, in palaces and parliaments, power still dances with desire. The faces have changed, the crowns replaced by titles, the concubines by scandal, but the weakness remains the same. This is not just history, it's a warning. That unchecked power, whether on a throne or in a boardroom, always finds a way to corrupt itself. That no empire, no matter how great, can survive when its ruler mistakes indulgence for control. From the marble corridors of Istanbul to the candlelit chambers of Versailles, from Cairo's midnight palaces to the forbidden cities of the East, history whispers the same truth. The greatest empires don't fall by the sword, they fall by the heart. And in the ruins of their desires, we find the real story of power and its price.